Hey, how's it going? Today we are going to play some games with Gouging Fire. It seems like this guy, Kirkham in Europe, is going to end up getting his entire invite this year with just Gouging Fire. He got, I think, like top 128 at a regional. And now we got top 16 and he's won a bunch of cups with it, so maybe it is not as bad as I thought it was. This is pretty much his list. I just cut the Flutter main for a 4th Nest Ball. I was finding that I was just having trouble finding basic Pokemon. I couldn't really think of what the Flutter main would be for outside of just like maybe Lost Box, but that deck's not super popular right now, so I just cut it. I'm sure it's for something. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe Iron Thorns, but I don't think that's that popular either. Alright, so the main attackers are Gouging Fire for Fire colorless. It does 260 and then we cannot use this attack again until it leaves the active. So we actually have to switch it out. That's why like there's 4 Jet Energy. There's only 1 Switch Cart, which I would think there'd be more Switch Carts, but I guess you're probably getting 1 shot. And if you're not 1 shot, you can either just Jet out of the active or hard retreat and between Magma Basin and Sada get all the energy back in play. The other attackers are Entei V, Fire colorless. It does 20 for each bench Pokemon. Just a solid easy attack that like the Secret Box A-Spec can just get the Entei attacking on its own. You can grab a Nest Ball and Magma Basin and even Forest Seal Stone and then Magma Basin attached to the Entei, get into the active. You're good to go. We have Delphox V that we can get going out of nowhere with the 3 energy switches, which does 120 to the active and 120 to one of the bench Pokemon. Do have to Lost Zone 2 fire energy, but this can either win us games or just completely destroy our opponent's setup. And we have the Moltres that adds 10 more damage to our attacks, which can help make some certain math. Like with the Munkidori, the Moltres, and the Kieran, we can add 70 more damage to the 260, so that's like a perfect 330. It's a pretty cool deck. It's pretty solid. I don't think it's the best deck in the world, but this guy's just kind of showing that in this current meta with all these decks, it really doesn't matter what you play as long as it's a good enough deck and you know what you're doing. And the element of surprise can also be good. Like a lot of people probably don't know what to expect from a deck like this. So yeah, that is the list. Let's get into the games. Real quick before the video, I just want to say shout out to this guy. I think his name is Henry. Thank you so much for the $5 tip. That's super cool. The first cent I ever made off the channel, so that is awesome. And I kind of feel like a jerk. Guy gives me $5 and then I just stopped posting for a while, but I've been having computer troubles and stuff, so that's been kind of unfortunate. Hopefully it is all straightened out now though, and the regular posting will commence. So thank you very much and I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone. We're getting close to 900 subs, so that is pretty awesome. Alright, so this first game we are up against the Gengar Pidgeot deck. I don't know if it's not a common deck. I said it like it's a meta deck, but yeah, it was weird. When I was playing this deck, I kept getting paired to super random decks on the ladder. But I used Greninja here, and just to get some cards to Secret Box away. It's an awkward decision. There's no recovery in this deck. So getting rid of Fezandipiti does feel bad, but this can get me everything I need to basically one-shot the active as long as I draw into another energy card. That's kind of the cool part about the Secret Box. I don't know, it's obviously a good card. I just don't think it's played as much because Prime Catcher is just so much better. Automatic Gust on an item is very strong, especially in decks like this, but the deck functions really well the way it is, so I just left that part alone. And I did choose to go second with this deck. I was choosing to go second to try and get like the turn 1 knockouts like this. I'm not sure if that's what Luke was choosing or not. I can't remember, but it just made sense to me that this deck probably can at least attack with Entei a good amount of the time. And if we do get paired into a turbo deck like Miraidon or Raging Bull, it is going to be like pretty likely that we start a 2 prize Pokemon. So going second would be the safest thing when we don't know what we're going into. My opponent is getting everything they need here, I guess. Even though they evolved right away, I feel like they probably could have gotten a Candy Gengar, but I guess they would have needed so much too, because they would have needed dark patch and all that, so it makes sense why they wouldn't do that. They do get a candy Pidgeot, and then use Greninja, and yeah, oh, so maybe they would have got, yeah, they would have got the dark patch and attack and everything. So they probably should have just held the Haunter in their hand until they saw everything that they drew, and then decided whether or not to evolve. They do counter catch my Entei, which is a bit of a mistake because you might as well leave this guy in the active when, like, I'm not one-shotting Greninja with the first attack, so they'd be better off just leaving him in the active because I'm less likely to attack that way with the limitation on the attack. I'm not sure what to do first here with the sequencing of my turn, so I just do Trekking Shoes. Because why not? I probably should have Fleet-Footed first. Honestly, I forgot about Fleet-Footed. That would have been definitely the best way to start. I Ultra Ball here. I probably should just get rid of Kieran, but I think I'm going to have to end up either using that to get out of the active or like doing some energy switch shenanigans. I can't really remember what I do. Oh, I end up bossing. Oh, because I have the jet energy in my hand. Yeah, so I can E-switch a fire to the other guy and then jet this Gouging Fire back into the active and boss up the Fezandipiti to just kind of, yeah, just straight up prize race him. I don't know what I was reading there. Yeah, I'm not really too sure about that, but yeah, so we do end up taking another 2 prizes, and this only was my second turn of the game, so you can kind of see how this deck can just run people over before they even get a chance to really attack. Like, it's like these candy decks, it's forcing them to have candy into their attacker turn 2, which can be a lot of stress to put on a deck. Like, it doesn't really give you much time to work with, and now at this point, like, it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to find some sort of way to take another 2 prizes. There's Pidgeot that I can knock out combined with like Munkidori. I could also just bring up the R.LUM.R or the Fezandipiti at some point. So I think we have really solid odds of winning this game. You can really also just 2-shot the Gengar. The tricky steps thing is pretty annoying, moving the energy, but I really only want to use the first attack this turn anyway. We do top deck the boss. If he left the Magma Basin in play, we would have just won there by Magma Basining. Actually, I don't think I have any fire in the discard pile, so never mind. Wouldn't have just won, I don't think. But yeah, I do get into a dark energy so I can grab Munkidori, heal a little bit of damage, and kind of set up to win the game next turn. I almost make a mistake and put it on the active, but I definitely want to put the damage on the bench. Now, even if he can attack with the other, or evolve the bench Ghastly into a Gengar, I'll be able to knock that out with Munkidori moving the 20 over, and then the 260 damage attack on the bench guy to equal 310, or I can knock out the active with just a Blaze Blitz attack or whatever it's called. He does get the candy to the Gengar, makes sense. He doesn't want me to be able to like knock out that with Munkidori and then boss up Greninja, but that's probably unlikely. I'm just going to knock out the active. I promote the Greninja so I can retreat off a fire energy. I did have the dark in the discard pile anyway, so it didn't really matter, but yeah, we ended up taking that one down pretty convincingly. Alright, so we got 2 Greninjas in the active here. My opponent is playing Chi-Pao, as you can see. I don't remember if he chose to go first or I chose to go second. This game really could be either way. This is a pretty interesting Chi-Pao list. It's gonna have the Area 0 in it, which I don't know how great that is. Pokestop's probably just better, but Chi-Pao definitely struggles with bench at some points. Like, you want to bench a ton of stuff. I have a pretty solid hand here. Start the Greninja to get rid of the fire. Now I have the Sada to attach the fire energy here. I unfortunately doesn't look like I have a way to discard this other fire, which isn't really ideal. I'm just kind of reading stuff, trying to figure out if there's anything I can do. I don't really think there is. I could burn and confuse is what I was thinking. I could also retreat to the Gouging Fire because he's not going to be able to one-shot it next turn anyway, but it's kind of the same difference. He's not going to one-shot my Greninja, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I should definitely be able to get an attack this turn as long as he doesn't disrupt my hand. And I do have Boss in my hand too, so I could, in theory, if he only gets down one Frigibax, I could knock that out. But then he'll just be able to one-shot me back and I'll kind of be ahead on the prize trade. Because he'll be able, unless he hits my Greninja for 120, which would be a massive mistake, and I don't expect this person to make that mistake. It's pretty obvious. He does get down one Frigi and grabs a rare candy. That's kind of greedy. Probably should have just grabbed a Poffin and gotten down two, but it's they're kind of hedging their bets here on if I knock out the Frigi. Like I said, they're gonna be able to knock me out with a third water attachment. That's kind of what I'm debating here, if it's worth doing that or not. And I think I just lose the prize trade if I do that. I can't like knock out the Frigi and just hope that he doesn't get another one down next turn. Here I'm debating to use the Kieran or the Switch Cart. I do end up using the Kieran in here because I can save the Switch Cart to combine with a Sada or whatever. And I'd rather use the Kieran on a turn where I'm not playing a supporter anyway. I don't need it to fix any math in this matchup as far as I know at the moment. I think that they do end up playing Palkia, so it kind of would have been nice for that. But at this time, I just have no reason to believe that they're playing Palkia, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, now we're ahead on the prize trade. My opponent probably should have left their Greninja in the active, but I think that they had to retreat it on their first turn to draw with Greninja to grab energy to draw with Greninja, so that does make sense. I keep reading the Delphox because I'm trying to I was trying to figure out last turn if there was some way that I could have knocked out the Greninja and the Frigibax that one turn if the Greninja was in the active, but it wasn't, so that would have been kind of a cool play. I also didn't have the energy switches, so it's kind of irrelevant. My opponent does Iona me. This is quite an interesting Palace. They have a lot of kind of random cards in here. They benched the Water Ogerpon. It's kind of cool. It kind of fits the theme, but like I said earlier, I think I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure Pokestop is just too valuable in the deck. Like, it's kind of half of the engine of the deck is Pokestop, so cutting that, and doesn't look like they have a Barrel either, but it is a cool idea. They're going to be able to knock me out here. The cool thing about the Bravery Charm in this matchup too is they need to use 3 energy instead of just 2 to one-shot the Gouging Fire, so that is nice. I do top deck a Judge, and they have really put a lot of stuff on their bench, so I will be able to get a knockout here with Entei pretty easily. I just have to get into the Stadium card or an Energy Switch to move the energy off the Delphox. That is why I benched the Delphox earlier, just to get a bonus energy on it. I probably could have just put that energy on the Moltres, but the Delphox also gives me a Forest Seal Stone target, so kind of seemed nice. I do end up getting the Energy Switch, so now I am guaranteed the attack here. The only downside to this is they can knock me out with Baxcalibur, and then I probably lose, so I'm hoping they don't do that. I also saved the Fleet-Footed for the other side of the Judge, just so that yeah, I can build on my new hand instead of drawing a card and then judging it back into the deck. I'm thinking about using the Basin now, but there's really no point in that. I would also have to use the Secret Box to get another bench Pokemon if I make them move their bench to 5. But I do actually think that I should have used the Secret Box and just gotten rid of the Magma Basin, Fire, and Sada, or Magma Basin Jet Sada, and gotten a new Magma Basin, a new Sada, and a Nest Ball to use the Magma Basin to put another fire on, or a fire onto the Gouging Fire. It's a lot of fires. Yeah, I should have preloaded an energy onto a Gouging Fire. That way I would be able to threaten boss on the next turn. Instead of like, if he knocked me out with the Baxcalibur this turn, I would just lose the game. And so I also could have gotten a Bravery Charm with off of the secret box. So I could either done that or gotten a boss's order for next turn and held on to 2 Magma Basin in my hand. So if they bumped it, I could throw another one in play and accelerate an extra energy and then attach retreat and boss up 2 Prizer. But I hope that made sense. Kind of felt like I was rambling about nothing, but the play makes sense to me. Because really they should have just promoted their Baxcalibur and knocked me out with a 1 prize Pokemon. And I wouldn't have been able to win the game because this deck doesn't play Prime Catcher. So I would be forced to use a Sada, and therefore I wouldn't be able to boss. Probably just have to retreat to like Moltres or something like that and pass. But luckily for us, they do attack with a 2 prize Pokemon, so I'm going to be able to grab everything I need here off of the secret box. This is a situation where it would have just strictly been better as a Prime Catcher. So I would have been able to, yeah, just guarantee that I knock out whatever I want. I unfortunately have to bump this stadium, which always feels bad because it just makes the games take longer than they kind of need to. But yeah, use the basin, attach the jet energy, and knock out the TWM PAL for game. Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure it's Luke Kirkham. Hopefully I didn't get it wrong. I probably will check it before I post this. But yeah, it's a pretty cool deck. That's his list. I think this has just kind of been his favorite deck for a while now. He's been playing it for quite some time and doing decently well with it. I think he's like getting consistent day 2s. And it is a fun deck. Definitely try it out for yourself. And hope you all enjoyed. Like or dislike, comment and subscribe, and have a good one.